needed to pick up her learner's permit, but that phone call would lead her into a nightmare from which she would never return. 23-year-old Modupe Tawoshe had called her former driving instructor Festus Udo because she needed her learner's permit. When Festus answered, he told her he was no longer working at the driving school. That should have ended the conversation, but unfortunately, Festus had other plans. Modupe was a graduate of the Polytechnic in Ibadan with a higher national diploma in quantity survey. She was serving in the National Youth Service course as part of Batch A 2017. Modupe was posted to the Ogun State Ministry of Housing in the state capital, Abeokuta. She was building her future, and her family in Ibadan was very proud of her. While serving in Abeokuta, Modupe decided to learn how to drive. She registered with Lizzie Driving School, where she was assigned to Festus Udo, a 29-year-old instructor from Uromi in Edo State. The manager of the driving school had instructed Festus to prepare learner's permits for his students, including Modupe. Modupe attended classes regularly at first, but then stopped coming for nearly a month. During this time, Festus prepared the permits. Other students collected theirs, but Modupe did not come for hers. About a week after the permits were ready, Modupe called Festus to collect hers. When he told her he was no longer at the school, instead of directing her there, he said he would call her when he was available so that she could collect it directly from him. Modupe saw no reason to be suspicious. Festus was her instructor, someone in a position of trust. She waited for his call. When Festus called, he told her to come to Lafenwa on Saturday evening. He said he would prepare another permit for her over there. Modupe agreed, wanting only to collect what belonged to her. When she arrived at Lafenwa, Festus told her they needed to go to another location. He said there was a specific place where he could prepare her permit. Trusting him, she agreed to follow. They took a motorcycle to this planned location. When they got off at a junction, Festus said they needed to walk further. They moved away from busy roads into isolated areas. As they walked, Modupe became uneasy. She asked if this was really where they were going. Festus assured her that this was where he stayed. Perhaps, feeling she had come too far to turn back, she continued following him. Festus led her to a bushy area in Abule Ayo in Mawuko village, Udeda local government area of Ogun State. They were far from help, far from witnesses. There, Festus revealed his true intentions. He told Modupe that he wanted to sleep with her. Modupe refused. She had come for a learner's permit and certainly not for this. But Festus did not respect her refusal. He dragged her into the bush and forced himself on her. When the assault was over, Modupe told Festus that she would report him to her family. It was a promise that justice would be sought for his action. Unknown to her, she just sealed her fate with those words, as she would never be seen again. Back at her workplace and lodge, people began noticing Modupe's absence. Her fellow corps members realized that they had not seen her. When she did not show up for work and also could not be reached, the concern grew serious. The matter was reported to the local government inspector overseeing NYSC activities. The then NYSC coordinator for Ogun State got involved and quickly filed a complaint with the Commissioner of Police. A corps member was missing and time was critical. The police began investigating Modupe's last known activities. Using technical screening methods, they traced her phone records and discovered that the last person to contact her was Festus Udo. The police located and arrested Festus. Under interrogation, he began confessing. He admitted being Modupe's driving instructor, explained how she stopped coming to lessons, and also described how he prepared her learner's permit. He confessed to calling her that Saturday evening, telling her to come and collect her permit at Lafenwa. He admitted deceiving her, taking her to the location on a motorcycle, and then walking with her to the remote bush area. Festus proceeded to confess the horrifying details. He admitted telling Modupe he wanted to sleep with her. When she refused, he dragged her into the bush and forcefully had his way with her. After the assault, when Modupe said she would tell her family, he tore her clothing and used the torn fabric to strangle her to death. Festus told the police that as Modupe gasped for air, fighting for her life, he ran away from the scene, leaving her body tied to a tree. Police demanded that Festus take them to the location. He led officers to the bush at Abule Ayo area in Mawuko village, and what they found was very heartbreaking. Modupe's body was still there, tied by her hands to a tree. By the time police arrived, her body had begun decomposing. At the crime scene, police found passport photographs of Modupe, her slippers, and other personal belongings. When journalists came to the scene, Festus repeated his confession. Standing where he committed his crimes, he described in detail what he had done. showing no real remorse.
After I have sex with her, she now told me she will go and tell their family. So the clothes when we wear the shirt and I tear the cloth and I tie her neck.
Festus Udo was formally arrested and remanded in prison custody while awaiting trial. Under Nigerian law, he faced extremely serious charges. Rape alone carries a potential life sentence. Murder is punishable by death. The combination of both crimes, the premeditated nature of his actions, and how he abused his position of trust as an instructor meant Festus would almost certainly face the death penalty if convicted. NYSC officials made a condolence visit to Modukpe's family in Ibadan. Visibly traumatized by the tragedy, he assured the family that the NYSC would do everything possible to ensure justice for Modukpe. The local government inspector stated that the NYSC family nationwide was deeply saddened by the violation and murder of their beloved corps member. He strongly condemned the act and promised that the organization would go to any length to defend and fight for their members' rights. He vowed that they would ensure Festus Udo was brought to justice, hoping his punishment would serve as a deterrent to other criminals. The LGI also advised other corps members to always be security conscious and promptly report security threats. He reminded them to save distress call center numbers provided during orientation. He advised corps members to move in groups and not follow strangers or even known people with questionable characters. Modukpe Taweshe was buried according to NYSC policy. She left her parents and siblings, a family devastated by the loss of a daughter with such a bright future. She was only 23 years old, a graduate ready to make her mark on the world, a corps member saving her country with dedication. All that potential was stolen by a man she trusted to teach her a simple skill. This story shows how vulnerable people can be when they trust the wrong person. Modukpe did nothing wrong. She simply wanted to learn how to drive and also collect a document belonging to her. She trusted someone in a position of authority whose job was to teach and guide, not to harm. Festus Udo abused his position as an instructor. He exploited Modukpe's trust, lured her to an isolated location under false pretenses, violated and then killed her to hide his dirty deeds. His actions destroyed a young woman's life, shattered a family, and traumatized an entire community of corps members who realized that if it could happen to Modukpe, it could certainly happen to anyone. The story shows us the importance of being cautious, even with people in positions of trust. Driving instructors, teachers, religious leaders, and others in authority positions must be held to the highest standards. When they abuse that trust, they must face the full force of the law. If this story taught you, please like this video.